For 10 years, Elias had a favorite phrase, "Not yet." He said it so often that people stopped hearing the fear inside it. Not yet, when someone asked when he would reopen his father's workshop. Not yet, when fishermen asked whether he still built boats. Not yet, when neighbors said the old place was rotting unused. Not yet, when he himself stood outside the locked doors and imagined another life. The phrase sounded patient, reasonable, even wise. But over time, it became a curtain behind which a whole life stayed waiting. Elias had learned boat building from his father. He knew how to read the grain of cedar, how to steam bend a plank, how to fit a hull so tightly that water seemed to respect it. After his father died, the small riverside workshop became his. Inside were the benches, patterns, hand tools, and one half-finished fishing boat left exactly where his father's last illness had interrupted the work. In the first year, Elias said he needed more experience. In the third year, he said he needed more money. In the fifth year, he said the market was uncertain. In the seventh, he said winter was the wrong season. In the ninth, he said his tools were not good enough. In the 10th, he had stopped needing a reason. Delay had become a habit with many masks. To earn a living, Elias repaired oars, patched crates, and helped other craftsmen with their projects. He was respected. He was also unfinished. One autumn morning, a traveling carpenter named Tomas came through the village. He was old, broad-shouldered, and missing the tip of one finger. He had spent most of his life building bridges, carts, mill wheels, and doors in towns along the river. At the docks, he asked who owned the locked workshop. A fisherman laughed and said, "Elias, best boat builder on the river who never builds boats." The men nearby laughed too. Elias heard them from where he was repairing an oar. He acted as if it meant nothing. But later that day, Tomas found him and said, "They say the building is yours." "It is." "Then why is it closed?" Elias answered with the sentence he had polished for years. "I am preparing to reopen it properly." Tomas looked toward the building and asked, "How long have you been preparing?" Elias did not answer. The old man nodded as if the silence itself had replied. The next morning, before sunrise, Elias heard knocking at his door. He opened it to find Tomas holding a ring of iron keys. "What is that?" Elias asked. "The key your life has been avoiding," said Tomas. Before Elias could protest, Tomas walked straight to the workshop, put the key in the lock, and opened one of the large doors. Dust rose in the cold morning air. Inside, the half-built boat sat exactly where Elias had left it years ago. The sight hit him like a memory and a shame at once. "You had no right," Elias said. Tomas turned. "Correct, but you have had every right for 10 years, and look what that has done." Elias stood in the doorway, breathing hard. Tomas stepped aside and said, "Listen carefully. You do not need confidence to begin. You need evidence. Confidence often arrives late and claims the work as if it had led the way." Elias said nothing. Tomas continued. "For 7 days, before sunset, leave one visible sign that this workshop is alive. Day 1, sweep the floor and open the doors. Day 2, clean the windows. Day 3, repair one bench. Day 4, hang one finished oar outside. Day 5, plane one plank for the half-built boat. Day 6, paint a sign. Day 7, accept one piece of paid work in your own name, not a dream, a sign." Elias stared at the abandoned room. "And after 7 days?" Tomas smiled. "Then you will finally have something more honest to say than, 'Not yet.'" Elias wanted to argue. He wanted to explain that he still lacked money, certainty, help, and a better season. But as he looked at the half-finished boat covered in years of dust, his explanations sounded like old clothes. So he began. On day 1, he swept. It took half the morning. The dust was thick. The cobwebs clung to the corners. The floor seemed to reveal the years back to him with every stroke. Still, by sunset, the workshop doors were open. That was the first sign. On day 2, he cleaned the windows and wiped the tools. Light entered the room differently. On day 3, he repaired the warped workbench near the back wall. When he tightened the last joint, he felt a small jolt of satisfaction that no amount of planning had ever given him. On day 4, he hung a finished oar outside the workshop. Several villagers slowed as they passed. One fisherman asked, "Are you taking work again?" Elias nearly said, "Not yet." Then he stopped himself. He answered, "Soon." On day 5, he placed the old half-built boat on supports and began planing a cedar plank for it. His hands remembered what his fear had tried to forget. The rhythm returned. The smell of cut wood returned. The room, for the first time in years, sounded like a workshop rather than a storage shed for regret. On day 6, he painted a simple sign, Elias Boatwork. The letters were not perfect. He wanted to repaint them. Thomas laughed. Imperfection is still evidence. By now, people in the village had started to notice. A boy stopped to watch him work. An older fisherman asked whether an oarlock could be repaired. A trader passing through asked how much Elias would charge to reseal a skiff before winter. Nothing dramatic had happened. No miracle. No wave of sudden success. Only signs. But signs are powerful. They turn intention into contact with reality. On the morning of day 7, a fisherman named Pavel arrived carrying a damaged tackle chest. "I heard the workshop is open," he said. "Can you fix this?" Elias looked at the chest, then at the sign, then at Thomas. The old man said nothing. Elias took a slow breath and answered, "Yes, leave it here." That afternoon, he repaired the chest and accepted payment in his own workshop for the first time in 10 years. It was a small amount. Yet when he held the coins, they felt heavier than any daydream he had carried for a decade. The following week, Pavel returned with an oar repair. Then another fisherman asked about patching a skiff seam. Then Elias completed the first section of the half-finished boat. One sign led to another. One finished task called for the next one. The workshop did not become successful overnight, but it became real. Months later, Elias stood beside the completed fishing boat his father had once begun. The river took the hull gently when it was launched. Villagers gathered to watch. Thomas, preparing to leave town, stood near the back of the crowd. Elias went to him afterward and said, "I spent 10 years waiting for confidence." Thomas adjusted the strap on his bag and replied, "And what did you find?" Elias smiled. "That confidence comes to inspect the footprints. It does not lay them down." The old carpenter nodded. That is the lesson many lives quietly miss. People think they need certainty before the first step, a perfect plan before the first sign, readiness before movement. But in most human things, movement is what begins readiness. A door opened, a floor swept, a sign painted, one paid task accepted. These are small actions, but they pull a life out of imagination and into evidence. If this story is for you, do not try to fix your whole future today. Give yourself 7 days. Before sunset each day, leave one visible sign that your beginning is no longer only a thought. Open the folder, clear the desk, write the first page, make the first call, hang the sign. And if you are willing to begin, write this in the comments. Day 1. The door is open. Add today's date. Then come back after 7 days and reply to your own comment. A delayed life rarely needs more motivation. It usually needs one honest sign that the waiting has ended.